know you're acquainted with the concept that journalists write the headlines before they do the story. What's your advice for this situation? For instance, Walmart pays fewer than 6,000 of its 1.3 million employees the minimum wage. But the headline is, unions decry minimum wage policies at Walmart. How do you solve that?
It's very tough because it's a better story from the standpoint of the writer, and particularly the headline writer. The second story is a better story than the first story. And the biggest sin in journalism that I see, and I think, incidentally, I think I probably, as a CEO, have spent more time talking to journalists than perhaps any CEO in the country. Partly that's because I'm 84, but partly because I like to talk to journalists too. But the greatest sin they commit, you've got to start a story with a hypothesis. I mean, you're looking into something because you have a working hypothesis, but you have to give up that hypothesis if it turns out not to be correct, or if it's misleading in a major way. So I always worry about the journalist that calls me. They've decided what story they're working on, and all they're looking for is confirmatory evidence. So I call it quote shopping. They'll talk to me for 45 minutes hoping they get one quote that confirms their story, and ignoring the other 43 minutes when I tell them things that should limit the story. So it's very natural. You know, you get time invested in it, you've got this working hypothesis, you know, terrible what Walmart does with their employees or whatever it may be, and you may have some people who have an interest in it feeding you a lot of material along that line. And once you've invested a lot of hours and your editor knows you've invested a lot of hours, maybe it was the editor's working hypothesis to start with. Now you got to go back and tell him he's wrong, or her. I mean, there's a lot of momentum toward a bad story. There's a lot of momentum toward a good story too. But you have to be able as a writer to say, my hypothesis is no longer correct. And all it was a hypothesis. That's no sin to say that, but it's hard to do.